Hi, welcome. Jaki Sabourin here, and today I want to talk to you about 3 fears of sabotage exclusive relationships. So, what happens is we enter into relationship because we naturally yearn to share our lives with a man, right? But something fascinating happens as soon as we cross that threshold of commitment. We can sabotage the relationship because 3 fears are very notorious for surfacing once you've established that you're exclusive. Now, if you're new to my channel, go ahead and hit subscribe in the box below, or it might be up in the corner, so that you never miss one of my episodes, because this channel is dedicated to women who want to learn how to date deliberately and create conscious love. So I don't want you to miss any episodes, so don't forget to subscribe. And those of you that are already subscribed, go ahead and like, share, and comment in the box below so we can start a dialogue. Now let's jump into what the first fear is. And so this is a big one, and I definitely can relate to this, and I've had this many times in various relationships, so I'm aware of it. So fear of abandonment. It's the number one fear that people have in relationships. So if you've ever been through a divorce, or you've lost a loved one, or maybe you have abandonment issues that are kind of residual left over from your childhood, then this fear of abandonment or losing our partner is really, really painful, right? And it's scary. It's very scary. So that's a very real fear. That's the first one. Now, the second fear is fear of not getting your needs met. And this is another very powerful fear that can actually sabotage and derail the relationship. Maybe your partner ends up not being able to take care of you in the way that you hoped that he could. And also a part of this, not getting your needs met, maybe not feeling heard, not feeling understood, and not having our basic needs met for real emotional connection. You know, you may have experienced some emotional distance in a relationship. That's when your partner withdraws instead of in talking to you, and he shuts down, and that leaves you feeling isolated, extremely lonely, confused, frustrated, and a little bit resentful. And so there's a big fear that can come up that you may not get your needs met in the relationship. And so, and now the third fear that I want to share with you is, and this was actually the most prevalent with me when I was getting to my relationship with Michael, is the fear of not being good enough. You know, it's kind of like, what if he gets to know me and finds out that I'm not good enough? You ever felt like that? And it's incredibly common. And maybe he's going to leave you for somebody else that, you know, maybe he's got a really beautiful secretary, or there's women at the gym that you've seen, and you have this big fear that, you know, he's going to see somebody that maybe is better than you. And even though you're in a relationship now, you might have this fear that something better will come along. And so it's normal to feel insecure about sharing your whole self with a man. I mean, that part of you that maybe sits around in your bathrobe all day while you're binging on Netflix, right? So these are very valid fears, and I just wanted to make you aware of them because healing accompanies awareness. So now, how do you cope with these common fears? Let's talk about that. So like I said, just bringing awareness to these fears and being prepared that they may come up, they may get triggered, they may surface. As soon as you agree to be exclusive, you go home and you sit there and you start thinking, which is one of the problems, and your mind starts to pull up all those relationship files that is stored, and it specifically pulls up the painful experiences you've had. So thinking will take you into a downward spiral because your mind is only going to be pulling up the memories from the experiences you've had and reminding you about maybe failed relationships, or that you were abandoned, you were cheated on, you were left, and you were ghosted, etc. And so it's really important to stay out of your head and stay in your heart. And so awareness is the first step in coping with these 3 fears. And the second part of coping that I really want you to to really give it some soul searching is anchoring these three fears to a time when you really didn't get your needs met, when you really were abandoned, you felt abandoned, when you really didn't feel good enough. If you can anchor back this feeling that's coming up, this fearful feeling that you're going to be abandoned, that you're not good enough, that you're not going to get your needs met, if you can anchor it back, so you trace it back to a time when that actually happened to you, then you will discover that the feeling of fear that you're having now is actually sourcing from the past. And that's why I said in the beginning of the video that that could sabotage you. So you want to become aware of a time when you really were abandoned, when you really or felt abandoned, you really were or felt that your needs weren't getting met, or you really did feel that you weren't good enough. And so once you discover where that anchor is, you can go to that part of you and nurture that part of you that really is in fear, scarcity, and lack about this new relationship, because it's typically sourcing from the past. And you don't want your past to contaminate your current relationship. So it's very important that you do that work, to just spend some time journaling on this fear that's coming up. And I'll give you a little tool real quick. I feel fear because, and so you just follow that. If I feel fear because, I feel fear because. So as soon as you get into a relationship, start running this sentence stem and answer that question. I feel fear because, and then as soon as you discover, because I'm afraid I'll be abandoned, then you want to get really curious about that. And I love that word curious. Get really curious. So why do I feel like I'm going to be abandoned? Because my first husband abandoned the relationship. Okay, there's the whopper, right? So I'm just making that up. And if that's true for you, so that those feelings of abandonment are real for you. So there's a part of you that's still fearful that you're going to be abandoned. And so you want to send that part of you some love, nurture that part of you, take ownership for your feelings, take responsibility for your feelings so you can feel better faster. They're your feelings, and you don't want to project those onto your relationship with your new guy, right? And so as soon as you discover what it's anchored to, then you want to nurture that part of you until you feel better. And the second piece, only after you've done some journaling and done some digging to find out where this fear is sourcing from, then and only then do you go to your partner and express to him. And it's so healthy. It's so healthy to be vulnerable and express to your partner that you're feeling some fear. You're feeling some fear of abandonment. It's okay to say that. Now, once you've cleared the fear, you may not need to share that with your partner. But if you're still feeling a little delicate, sensitive, vulnerable, go ahead and share with your guy and say, oh, I'm so excited that we're in this relationship, and I love everything that's unfolding, but I have to admit that I've been having a little fear come up. My last relationship, my boyfriend ghosted me, and so I guess that fear is coming up that that I may get abandoned. And I just wanted to share that with you, and I'm wondering if you can give me a hug. Just ask for a hug. Ask for what you need. If you don't use your voice and ask for what you need, a man can't read your mind. He can't meet your needs, and you're already setting up a self-fulfilling prophecy that you're not going to get your needs met. So verbalize your needs, verbalize your fears. Once you've processed where it's sourcing from, it's so much more empowering. That way your partner doesn't feel like you have fear about him, but you're clear about where the fear is sourcing from, and you're just sharing that with him, creating more intimacy, more of an emotional connection, which is only going to deepen your relationship if you process first and share second. Okay, I hope this was helpful. Now, before I go, I want you to jump on over to 2020loveforecast.com. That is the new personality quiz that I created just for you, so you can find out what's in store for your love life this year and who your celebrity soul sisters are. So go to www.2020 Love Forecast, there we go, .com. So 2020loveforecast.com, and take this quick personality quiz so you can discover what's in store of your love life this year and who your celebrity soul sisters are. Just a fun little quiz I created for you. And I think it's going to give you a really great forecast, by the way, so don't forget to take that. And thank you for being here. And as always, I'm sending you so much love.